Look at the new growth. We have one more coming in here. And this guy just came up. So knowing how it works, there's probably one still tucked in here. And I don't want to rip that off yet because it keeps it safe. But inside that cataphil right here will be another stem. Let me see if I can, there, you can see it. So I'm going to leave him protected in there. And that's typically how it goes. They will have sort of two always available at once. It'll just, one will be tucked away at a slower growth progression than obviously the newer one, which is this big boy. But none of the leaves seem to be sad. There is one down here which was sad before. So I'm thinking he just was like, I'm done now. And I kind of smoosh him against my cabinet because he's a low rider and I'm kind of not a fan of those that don't lift themselves up nice. But as you can see, my guy's pretty happy. I do have it staked a lot because he kind of flows over a little bit too much, and in the space he's at, he will be hitting the wall in bad ways and stuff, and I don't really want to damage any leaves because I love them. So we keep him pretty staked up, and I bet if I let it go now, he'd probably stand up straighter. My cat is fascinated by this drainage happening here. So as you can see, I have pretty good drainage. Now I'll probably re-pour that back in there to give it one more go around, since I don't water this guy for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I really do take a while to water my big philodendron. Same with this guy. I only just watered him like yesterday. Kiki. I have a dog behind me. That's the noises you're hearing. I water him like every 2 or 3 weeks. I gauge it, which I don't know where I put my, oh, it's right here. This was completely at 0. It was dry. So he was completely dried out. And I always make sure that my philodendron are, especially my big guys, are completely dried out. Now I know this isn't a fact, but this is an opinion of mine, and it's probably, I probably believe that people would agree with me. But even though this isn't the most technical term for this, for a philodendron, I feel like they're somewhat drought tolerant. And what I mean by somewhat is they can be dry, in my opinion, for like 24 hours to 12 hours and be fine, or even more than that, but I don't push it. And they're fine. They're just fine. They like it. I wouldn't say they like it, but they do tolerate it. And then it also protects you from overwatering. However, if they go into a stress mode, they will produce more nectar, which you can see on this. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to try and get this for you. On his stem, I think is it that one? No, it's this one right here. There, you can see the nectar. So he will create more nectar on the leaves, which will create these dots. Now this happened before my care. So if you catch it right at 90% dry, you can avoid it over creating nectar, which does damage leaves. So this is an older leaf that wasn't in my care. It was at the box store, or at the grocery store, at the nursery, and you can see he was pretty stressed there. My newer leaves are okay. There's no spots. There's some dirt, which I need to clean. But other than that, he hasn't been stressed in my care, thankfully. Hopefully I don't jinx myself. But I do love this plant. It is a crawler, I believe. It looks like it's a crawler. Pretty 100% sure he's a crawler. And I've just loved it. He's been such a good plant in my care. I have had no issues. Like I said, this is the first leaf that's actually like started yellowing. And they're like the low rider leaves, which are due to probably go out anyways. See how they're just drooping, and then the rest are all perked up. Duncan, what are you doing? So I'm about to repot a Paradiso. I just got these, which I threw in here. Now, you shouldn't really throw them in on the top and mix them in, but I can't really up pot this guy. Sorry, I got hiccups. To introduce this to its planting. And then I have to also worry about my systemic use of granules, because that will sometimes negate the benefits of the myco. It will kill it. So yeah, we're gonna play around with that and see kind of how to introduce that to my plants for their root growth and their health, etc. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take this guy off here, let him drip in a tray now, and let me test him now. Hopefully I don't make it fall because I have to push down. See, now it says he is wet. So he's a happy boy. Now I try not to poke them too much because they do have roots there, and I don't want to be necessarily stabbing into a root and then hurting my plant. So I'll just do it twice, and he's wet, so he's good. Now just let him drip and put him back when he's completely dried. That way the base underneath is not soaking up my stand right there, because it's wood, and wet on wood is not ideal. It'll rot. So he's a happy boy. And we also have a little T-Rex skull that my child put in here, which is so cute. Look at that. It really goes with this planter. I love it.